The Fire Cape. Once upon a time, this was RuneScape's hardest challenge. Obviously, that's not the case anymore, as the Fight Caves is a fantastic example of a challenge that's only gotten easier each year as new and stronger weapons and armor are introduced to the game. This is where my fun little idea comes into play. I want to play around with the new Eclipse armor that I just got, and what better way to do that than to grind out the Fire Cape? Oh boy, in hindsight, this was a really dumb idea. In the last video, I set out to get all 3 armor sets from the Moon's Apparel, that being the Blood Moon armor, the Blue Moon armor, and the star of the show, the Eclipse armor. This gear set has a ton of uses and is extremely popular with higher mid-level players that want to take on harder PvM challenges, and today, I want to use that set to get the Fire Cape, but it does come at a cost, 75 range. That doesn't sound like it's a huge challenge to get, just go train range stupid, but if you're like me, you want to overcomplicate life enough to make this grind last 3 to 5 times longer than it should be. So let's talk about my master plan. Step 1 was Slayer. That seems a bit out of left field, doesn't it? But yes, Slayer is a very important first step in my master plan to waste all of my time, but it had a good reason. Right now I want good ammo to train up my range, as the bone crossbow just isn't giving me dopamine hits that I crave. So I want to get broad bolts to use with my new rune crossbow. To get those bolts, you have 2 options. You can spend 35 Slayer points for a pack of 250, or you can unlock the ability to make your own bolts by buying broader fletching for 300 Slayer points. Assuming you have the fletching level to make them, well, I'm going to talk about that more in a bit. For now, I'm trying my best to think ahead, and I want to unlock the ability to make my own bolts because that fletching experience is incredibly nice and is something that I need to train in the future regardless. So I need 300 Slayer points, and I want to get it fast, and what better way to do that than to boost those Slayer points? This is not new, but it's still incredibly powerful for Slayer rewards. The plan is simple. Grind out 9 tasks from a super simple Slayer master like Turiel and Birthrope, and do your 10th task in the streak at the highest Slayer master that you have available that's going to give you the most amount of points per task. In my case, that would be Konar. Turiel provides super quick and super easy Slayer tasks at the cost of being incredibly inefficient to grind long term, but it lets you stack up Slayer streaks very fast. And Konar gives you a ton of Slayer points. 18 points per task for me right now since I don't have the Elite Diary done, but it gives you 90 Slayer points if you do your 10th task in a row with her. And that's exactly what I did. 9 tasks done super quick at Turiel, 1 longer and possibly horrible task from Konar, but lucky for me, the first task from her was Trolls at the Death Plateau. Not great for training range, but I can grind it out really quick with the Maracas, and this task was completed getting my first 90 Slayer points, and my first Brimstone key. This unlocks the Brimstone chest and has a ton of goodies in it. Right now I got Iron Ore, and I'm not super happy about it. Iron Ore, well, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? But the grind continues, and the next Konar task gives me Greater Demons in the Karum Slayer dungeon, and all that means is I can safe spot them with range and actually grind out a level. At this point, you get the idea. The cycle just continues, eventually getting enough points to unlock broader fletching and complete step 1 of wasting a ton of time. Step 2 is extremely straightforward. Go make the bolts. We're currently at level 40 fletching though, and that's horrific news for me and all of my free time. To make broad bolts, you need to have level 55 fletching, which means it's time to grab a trusty axe and go chop. Here lies my problem. I have an adamant axe, and I really want a rune axe for possibly the 1,000 logs that I'm about to chop, and it sounds pretty simple to go get. I can head over to the Enchanted Forest, kill some tree spirits, and get a rune axe in about an hour thanks to it being a 1 in 32 drop.
We found it.
Good lord, dude. 238 kills, and that's what's been logged. I can only imagine a handful of these have been missed. 238. This was supposed to be like, I don't know, like maybe an hour grind. It's been multiple hours. It's been multiple hours to get this damn thing. Holy. All right, well, it's time to finally go start the fletching grind. I think I need like 2,000 logs or something. Oh, this is gross. 238 KC. What a side goal that wasted way too much time. I was just in too deep to give up on it, honestly. After an hour, I was thinking I was just unlucky, and by the second hour, I just didn't know when to quit. I'm a goal-oriented player after all, and when the goal is left up to RNG, I don't know when to stop. With a weekend day ruined, it's time to actually start training fletching. Now, fletching gives you a ton of ways to go train it. You can make arrow shafts, unstring bows, which you can go string later on for more XP, shields, you get the idea. In my head, the best option for long-term gains was to make arrow shafts, and attach some feathers to them later on for slightly more XP, and call it a day. With the goal to get fletching high enough to make broad bolts, that sounds like a horrible idea. To go from level 40 to 55 just making headless arrows, I need a little over 129,000 headless arrows. if we trust this XP calculator I found online and just assume that I have all of those arrow shafts just laying around. But I was committed to this goal. If I can make these headless arrows, I have a stupid amount of experience banked for future fletching grinds, so I set out and chopped, and chopped, and chopped, and fletched when I could, and cried only a little bit. Hours later, I found myself with 70k arrow shafts, and that's where I called it quits. It was time to add some trusty feathers to my bulk and reap the rewards for my efforts. Side note to whoever made it so you can only attach feathers through this interface, I kinda hate you. Give me the make X option or spam clip option, please. I'd rather destroy my wrist than to sit here this long again. But in the end, I kept on fletching until I hit a new milestone, and when you spend hours and hours doing something super boring like chopping logs, you get to thinking. Level 52 fletching unlocks something interesting that I did not consider when planning my route to grind out 75 range, which again, we have yet to start grinding yet. Sorry. 52 fletching unlocks the ability to make broad arrows. The broader fletching unlocked from the Slayer Masters gives you the option to make broad arrows or broad bolts. As of right now, I have the level to make those arrows, but I don't have a bow that can use them. These arrows need to be shot from a bow that's either magic tier or higher, and shocker to no one, I don't have that, so the broad arrows are kind of useless. But I do have the rune crossbow, so I can use the broad bolts, hence the original plan to go make the bolts, which I should probably go continue to work towards, right? Well, at this point, I'm so sick and tired of fletching that I have to make a decision. Option 1, I can blow my very small cash stack on arrowheads from the Slayer Masters to speed up the remaining levels I need for broad bolts. This of course means I don't have enough money left over to actually go buy the bolt supplies that I need, which is going to send me on another side mission to just go grind out cash. Option 2 is the safer option. This of course is just keep doing what I've been doing and keep on making those headless arrows until I get to level 55. Very boring, and man was I looking forward to a way to get out of that grind. Can you blame me? This is what I've been doing for hours. So let's explore option 1 for a bit. It's pretty risky, all things considered, since it has yet another RNG check to it, and I have horrible luck apparently. But it does have the chance to save a ton of time away from those trees. If I was to make broad arrows and destroy my cash stack, could I find a way to use those broad arrows to train my range level? Well, yeah, I just need to go get a magic short bow somehow. This is where I gambled for a bit. Magic bows are a possible reward from the hard clue scroll. The short bow has a 1 in 27.1 chance, and the long bow has a 1 in 31 chance from any hard casket. With my track record at getting what should be rather common rewards like the rune crossbow and the rune axe, I don't really like my odds here, but the idea of cutting another log right now sounds awful, so I went to Twisted Banshees to see if the RNG gods were on my side today. These guys can be found in the Catacombs of Karen and can be safe spotted pretty easily if you're using ranged attacks, and they have a pretty sweet drop table for someone at my level. Lucky for me, I got a hard clue within the drop rate, and even though I don't have the greatest odds of completing hard clues yet, there are still a ton of quests that I need to get done and items that I just don't have to do all the steps, but luck again was on my side and I was able to complete this challenge with relative ease. Okay, it's the first one of the video. Can we please just be the one and done and not go on a stupid long grind for something? Oh, please. Yes, we got the magic short bow. Oh my god, this is a fantastic loot. Oh my. This is amazing. Okay, so the magic short bow, amazing. That's exactly what we wanted. Ancient D-hide and then Armadillo bracers. These are amazing to get already. I'm pretty sure these are direct upgrades to what I have. So we got a full range kit, boys. This is amazing. Yes. Man, that clue came in clutch. I just can't lie there. This saves me hours of fletching and or a cash grind that I just cannot believe RuneScape gods were on my side and knew that I needed this range kit now more than ever. This made my next decision incredibly simple. Go buy arrowheads, attach them to the shafts, and finally start training range. Step 3, unlock the eclipse gear. Now, in full honesty, there's really no reason for me not to just go do the fight caves right now. The magic short bow in combination with broad bolts would make for a tricky fire cape adventure, but it's totally doable with the gear that I have unlocked. Getting 70 range would help tremendously as I can use the new gear upgrades that I just got, but this video started out with me having the goal to use the eclipse weapon there, and damn it, I'm gonna make that happen. So the range training finally started, and for the grind, I just stuck to Slayer. This is by no means the fastest in terms of range XP per hour, but Slayer has been slacking and there's a ton of progress that needs to be made there, and it's just the smartest option for me right now. Thankfully, with higher Slayer levels means there's a chance to get some better drops to High Alch, which fixed my cash stack issue for the short term. And wouldn't you know it, the time came for 75 range to be achieved, and it's time to start the final challenge. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. I have the Eclipse armor on. It's time to get the fire cape, and I'm gonna be honest, it's been a while, and I'm way more nervous than I should be for this. I have quite a few KC under my belt. I mean, obviously I have the Infernal cape on the main account, but For whatever reason, man, with the Ironman, I feel the pressure. I really do. It's weird. My main concern, honestly, is just food to prayer ratio. I feel like I'm definitely overdoing it with the prayer, considering I'm going to be pray flicking everything. But when it comes to dealing with both the ranger and mage monsters, I have no idea how tanky this gear is against range. So I'm hoping I don't get smacked around too hard. I can honestly expect a fair bit of mess ups in the fight cave. So hopefully I can power my way through here. We got some sharks from the archaeologist grind. We got some qualms from the shop in Brimhaven. Probably enough prayer potions and darts to do this a dozen times over, but I'm just still nervous. I don't know why. But enough lollygagging around. It's time to send it. As we speed through the recording, I feel like I have to give the Eclipse armor its due credit. It's not the strongest or the fastest weapon, of course, but for mid-level players, the set is super solid. I didn't spend a lot of time hitting zeros, the added burn damage on the mage minions was super nice, and aside from the mistakes I made while positioning, I really can't complain with this set. Yeah, I took a bit of damage here and there from the rangers, but that's to be expected. Not kitted out in the best gear after all, and man, those melee boys really smack you hard if you're not paying attention. But overall, this set was a lot of fun to play around with. As it got to the Jad fight, we noticed that I don't have a ton of food, and honestly speaking, that's more of my fault than anything. This gear was fantastic. I went fast, I mispositioned here and there. It happens, that's why I have no food. But eventually we got to the spot where it's just about attacking Jad. Healers are trapped, prayer is high. Why not test out that special attack that I have yet to see? I did not know that would go into melee. Oh my lord, that scared me so bad. Oh, that scared me. That was so dumb. There we go. There we go. Fight Caves is done. Little dance. Yes. Oh, most impressive. Fire Cape has been achieved. Yes. An hour and 12 minutes. Honestly, it's kind of impressive for what I was thinking. I thought this would take a lot longer, but we did it. We did it. Fire Cape has been achieved. So what did we learn here? I have a terrible sense of time management, apparently. And what a weird list of side objectives that I got done. From grinding points for the ability to make broad ammo, to wasting a day grinding out a rune axe, to being saved by the magic shortbow and the clue, I can't lie, I still had a blast. Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comments below. Did you enjoy seeing all the progress, or was certain parts extremely boring? I'd love to hear any feedback that you have for me. With that said, I think that's all that I have for you. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does mean the world to me. And until we see each other again, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Good luck on your grinds and your personal goals, and I hope to see you again very soon. Stay inspired.